The crisis in the Persian Gulf has entered a new dangerous chapter. Tehran's military and political leadership are issuing blunt threats. Washington is recalibrating a fragile diplomacy, and mediators in Islamabad are struggling to keep talks alive. Tonight, we trace the latest warnings from Iran's security establishment, the diplomatic maneuvering in Pakistan, and what both sides now say will determine whether this conflict tips back toward open confrontation or toward a negotiated pause. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, has put its most public face on the line, warning the United States and Israel that any new strike will invite retaliation designed to be both severe and strategic. In an announcement carried by state outlets, the IRGC warned that Tehran would escalate the severity of its retaliation against any new attacks by the United States or the Israeli regime, and that any response would go beyond the enemy's expectations. The statement underscored Tehran's message that its countermeasures are meant to act as strategic deterrents, calibrated to shift calculations, not simply to inflict immediate pain. The IRGC's public posture is mirrored by an even broader coordinated note from Iran's Central Military Command. The Khatam al-Anbiya Joint Headquarters issued a separate warning saying that continued naval piracy, blockade, and banditry by American forces would be answered decisively. The statement asserted that Iran now possesses greater strength and readiness to defend its sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national interests, and it made plain that Tehran intends to maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz even after the present crisis subsides. Those are more than rhetorical lines. They are an attempt to reshape the operational environment in the Gulf and to signal to foreign navies that freedom of movement is no longer a default condition. That posture has tangible consequences at sea. Iran's authorities have already restricted transit through the Strait of Hormuz, saying that coordinated passage is allowed for most ships, but excluding vessels linked to the United States, Israel, and certain affiliated entities. The IRGC added that controls will persist and that in the event of renewed attacks, Iran is prepared even for ground operations and has made plans for detaining potential aggressors. The language prisoners of war camps have been prepared to house potential aggressors is intended to stake out a hard line and raise the cost of any future kinetic escalation. On the political front, a senior advisor close to Tehran's inner circle made the rhetoric even starker. Mohsen Razai, a longtime figure in Iran's security establishment, posted a message that fused national resolve with apocalyptic imagery. He declared, with the strong hand of Iran's valiant sons and the tightly knit ranks of the devoted nation, the sound of America's broken bones will echo from the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman to the ears of the world. Those are deliberately calculated words, an effort to shore up domestic unity, to project strength to regional partners, and to make clear that Iranian leaders believe the balance of deterrence has shifted. That rhetoric arrives amid fraying diplomacy. Pakistan has been the venue of a series of mediation attempts meant to prevent the conflict from widening. Islamabad hosted an initial round of talks that produced a short-lived ceasefire, and Pakistan's leaders have repeatedly offered shuttle diplomacy between Washington and Tehran. Iran's foreign minister has been at the center of those exchanges, meeting with Pakistani mediators and other regional figures as negotiators try to hammer out terms for the escalation. But after a second round of shuttle diplomacy in Islamabad, Tehran's delegation departed, leaving talks on shaky ground. For Washington, the diplomatic effort has been uneven and at times publicly clumsy. The White House announced plans to send 2 high-profile envoys to Islamabad to revive negotiations. Those plans were abruptly canceled, with the president saying that if Iran wanted to talk, all they have to do is call. The decision added a new layer of confusion to an already brittle process. Reports indicated that the envoys had been preparing to travel when the decision was reversed. The president's own remarks captured the blunt calculus behind his call. He said, "We have all the cards. We're not going to spend 15 hours in airplanes all the time going back and forth to be giving a document that was not good enough. And so we'll deal by telephone and they can call us anytime they want." Again, we have all the cards. They have no military left. Practically, they have no leaders left. Those comments were meant to signal confidence and a preference for pressure combined with phone diplomacy rather than extended shuttle missions. The effect, however, was to strip momentum from the Pakistan track and deepen mistrust. Back in Tehran, officials framed the breakdown differently.
Iran's foreign ministry said it had shared a position aimed at ending the war, but questioned whether the United States was serious about diplomacy. Tehran is demanding formal guarantees, an end to naval coercion, compensation for damages, and recognition of Iran's right to move its economy without foreign interference. From Tehran's perspective, these are central conditions for any ceasefire.
The dynamic on the water and in the diplomatic channels creates a stark choice for both governments. Washington must decide whether to maintain coercive naval operations it says are necessary to secure shipping lanes. Tehran, in turn, has signaled it will treat such measures as acts of war if they continue, promising retaliation calibrated to deter further pressure. Beyond the immediate standoff, there are wider regional and global risks. The Strait of Hormuz handles a significant share of global oil shipments. Any disruption would affect energy markets, shipping costs, and global inflation. Investors are already reacting to volatility, and prolonged instability could trigger major economic ripple effects. There is also a human toll. The conflict has produced casualties and displacement. Iran reports military and civilian losses, while Western sources cite damage to infrastructure and personnel. These losses are hardening political positions on both sides and making compromise more difficult. Three possible paths forward are emerging. One is reviving Pakistan-mediated diplomacy with clearer structure, verifiable steps, and third-party guarantees. Another is escalation through continued military pressure, which risks triggering asymmetric retaliation from Iran through shipping disruption and regional proxies. A third is a hybrid approach combining limited de-escalation at sea with tightly supervised diplomatic steps, including prisoner exchanges and phased confidence-building measures. Whatever path unfolds, two realities dominate. Iran is signaling it is prepared to escalate if pressure continues. The United States is signaling it will not accept coercion in the Strait of Hormuz. Between those positions lies a narrow space where diplomacy must compete with deterrence. In the coming days, key indicators will include whether negotiators return to Islamabad, whether Iran eases or tightens maritime restrictions, and whether regional actors can provide guarantees both sides trust. For now, the Strait of Hormuz remains not just a shipping lane, but a pressure point where diplomacy and confrontation are moving on the same collision course and where every decision carries global consequences.